Hey everyone, and welcome to Comic Breakdown. If you're new to the page, be sure to give us a like and a sub so you don't miss any of the content we have coming out. And today we're going to be diving into Dark Knight's Death Metal, Legends of the Dark Knights. Now this issue really is a filler in between Dark Knight's Death Metal. And what we're getting here is a bunch of short stories that kind of give us a little bit of understanding behind some of these dark Batmen. And so without further ado, let's dive into this issue. So diving into the first story in this line, we're met with the Batmanhattan. And he's having a lot of inner dialogue. He's essentially becoming one with the powers of Dr. Manhattan. And he's starting to question his existence and his whole experience that he's had in life. From the very beginning to the day in the alleyway to the day that he eventually snapped and killed the Joker and became the Batman who laughs. His time spent with Barbados, amassing the army that he did, manipulating everything so he could be Perpetua's right hand. All of these events were very important, and these are who made the Batman who laughs. But then he tells us he left out a Dark Knight, one of the Batmen from the Dark Multiverse he decided not to grab, or not to tell anybody about. And it tells us how we got this Batman who laughs mixed with Dr. Manhattan. So essentially Bruce Wayne had found the button, and with the button he tried to recreate Dr. Manhattan's powers. And in doing so, it essentially caused the same chain of events that caused Dr. Manhattan to become who he is. But before Bruce Wayne was able to really have a cognitive understanding of what his powers are and who he is and what just happened to him, the Batman who laughs took his opportunity and killed him, lobotomized him. But his goal is to be something even greater. And so as he gets all this cosmic awareness and understanding in the universe, he essentially telepathically lives the lives of every single Dark Universe Batman to have ever existed. So essentially he's becoming every single Batman to ever exist. And he's doing all of this not so he can be somebody's right hand or work underneath somebody, but he's doing this so he can become the bullet that shot his mother. And the multiverse is the dark alley, and the world will fall like the pearls. And the last key to his plan is to take the power from Wally West. Once he does that, he essentially has the ability to create his own multiverse. A multiverse that laughs every planet like a bullet to be fired at gods. It's a multiverse that would literally eat all others, taking out one reality after the other, until there is nothing left. Until there is just him. Now picking up with our next story, it's Alfred in the Wayne Manor, and he is bloody carrying a pistol in his hand. And he seems to have shot somebody, and he starts reminiscing about Bruce Wayne as a child, and not a good Bruce Wayne, but an evil one. One that manipulates everything around him, that causes fires, dissects animals, just straight lunatic. And it takes us to the alley where his parents die, but instead of his mother dying, Bruce Wayne attacks the guy with a knife and just guts him. And then he pulls out the gun from the perpetrator and shoots both his mother and father. And Alfred covered this all up. He knew, but didn't say anything. And Alfred almost feels like he's to blame for what transpired and what does transpire with this Bruce Wayne. And that's when a cop arrives at the door. And they are essentially saying that they have evidence that Bruce Wayne's the one that killed everybody in that alley. And before anything's about to happen, Bruce Wayne throws a knife through the police officer's neck. And then we see him jump out dressed in a new uniform. And he smashes and kills Alfred. And this is where we get our origin story for the Robin King. And with our next story, we pick up with a Gotham City that's broken. And we have an old man Bruce watching surveillance of the city just falling apart. And then Damian comes into the room dressed as Batman. And is just pretty much begging for the ridicule that he feels Bruce Wayne wants to throw at him because he's failing the city. There's nothing he can do. He's not Dick, he's not Barbara, he's not Jason or Tim. You know, they're all dead and he's the last one to survive and he's failing. But Bruce lets him know, like, there's another option. They used to do blood sacrifices in the early days of Gotham, and it was essentially making them a part of Gotham itself. And to perform this ritual, he has to sacrifice something he loves. And so he grabs the knife and plunges it into Damien's chest. With Damien's blood, he makes a ritual circle and he steps inside of it. And this is where we see Batman literally become Gotham City. He's in every crack and every sidewalk. Gotham is him and he is Gotham. He literally became a city. And the last story that we'll be covering today is actually a pretty funny one. So the idea that Batman, he died at some point and his mind had fled into the cyberspace and it downloaded into a genetically engineered human body that he had prepared in case this ever happened. And so now they're going to get a Batman with 2 lifetimes, essentially unstoppable. But there seemed to be some kind of error because instead of a fully grown man, his consciousness was transported into a child, a baby, an infant. And we see this baby trying to maneuver around the Batcave and it's just seemingly impossible. And we see the baby use its ultimate weapon as it starts to bawl crying. And that will be the end of this issue. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I absolutely loved this. I enjoyed it quite vigorously. It was nice to get a little bit of backstories into the Robin King and stuff of that nature. And it was definitely nice seeing like a little bit of drops of humor in there with the Batman baby and stuff like that. So yeah, if you guys haven't yet, be sure to like and subscribe to the page. And until the next video.